You're really going to follow Dream Warriors up with that dumpster fire, huh? Okay.
Tell him Freddy sent you.
Welcome to the Dave Cave. I, as always, am Dave. Now, before we get started, if you're new here, you want to stay on top of all things horror and a little bit of heroes like reviews, rants, rankings, and reactions, hit that subscribe, ding the bell, so you don't miss a minute. Today we are talking the follow-up to Dream Warriors that really in no way, shape, or form lives up to the predecessor, and that is A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. The Dream Master is directed by Rennie Harlan, features the return of the Dream Warriors, well, the surviving Dream Warriors, and you have Tuesday Night taking over as Kristen from Patricia Arquette. It's a little confusing at first. Terrible casting choice if you ask me. But then you also have Lisa Wilcox in as the new final girl, Alice. The movie follows the surviving members of the Dream Warriors, at least for like the first half of it, and then, like a plague, their affliction of Freddy gets spread to these new people, Alice and her group of friends. And from there, Alice has to bring his ass down with a newfound power that she got from Kristen. Yeah, there's a lot of bad in this movie. Before we get into that bad, this movie isn't a complete disappointment, just mostly. So let's find out the redeeming factors with the good. Okay, I fluffed that up probably a little bit more than I should have. I only have one entry in the good column, and that is the concept of the Dream Master. Not even the way they execute it. They kind of execute it okay, but the concept of the Dream Master. I really dug that when they really got into the idea of Alice getting the powers from her friends and the different personality traits that eventually made her strong enough to be able to fight Freddy. I dug that concept. The idea that Freddy is the bad and the Dream Master is the good. He gets the souls, she gets the powers. I like that idea that it's not just Freddy that is empowered by these deaths. It's a little bit grim that she only gets the powers when they die, but I like the idea of someone else getting empowered from these souls with the ability to then fight Freddy. But even with all those powers, when Alice does fight Freddy, it's not enough. When you're the Dream Master and you have all these abilities and power from all these different souls, you'd think the concept that she'd be able to kick the shit out of him. But she doesn't, and she can't. She relies on a nursery rhyme. I tried really hard to find things that I liked in this movie. I really did, but nothing was hitting for me. I almost had no good column for this review. Yeah, so let's get this over with and get right into the bad. The first thing I want to talk about in the bad is the music. And I'm not talking the Nightmare on Elm Street theme. I love the shit out of that. It's the late 80s rock that just is constant through this movie. It's just like how I feel about Jason Lives. In Jason Lives and in this one, they give this high peppy, high energy music throughout the whole film so that any kind of creepy vibe, any kind of fear you might have or be drawn from in this movie goes out the window. Because there's just too much high energy. There's just too much positive energy going on in this movie. The difference between this one and Jason Lives is otherwise, Jason Lives is actually a good movie. And in The Dream Master, every time that the music hit, I almost rolled my eyes because it took me out of it. It completely takes you out of any kind of tension that you would have or could have because there's nothing creepy about it. They end the movie with some of this music, and honestly, I couldn't turn it off fast enough. I don't like to feel that. I like to let the credits roll on these movies, let the creepy music build and go, and like to feel the movie, but yeah, I was done with this one the moment credits hit. The second thing I want to talk about in the bad column, and it breaks my heart to say it, but the Dream Warriors tie-in. I didn't need that, and they didn't need that. They did not need to have the Dream Warriors come back for this one, especially since they couldn't have Patricia Arquette come back, because I don't hate Tuesday Night, and she's fine, she does whatever, but with not having Patricia Arquette back, it felt like it was tacked on. Now, I understand that they wanted to tie up loose ends with it. I understand that they wanted to have Kristen give this power to Alice, but where I'm sitting, you didn't need to do that. Kincaid's dog could have just been a dog in a junkyard somewhere that could have dug Freddy up, and from being undug and being uncovered from the holy ground that was on him, he just is let out into the world. easily could have happened. Or you have it be Alice's dog. Alice's dog digs up Freddy, grabs his femur. He's a dog with bone. Comes home with it. Alice has it. Boom. She gets infected with Freddy. And then from there, in terms of giving Alice this power, you didn't need Kristen to do that because it's not even Kristen's power that Alice gets. In Dream Warriors, when people are getting killed off left, right, and center, Kristen doesn't get stronger. She just still does what she does. In this one, Alice gets a completely different power. And because it's a completely different power, she didn't need to get it from Kristen. She just has it. She has it. She doesn't know she has it. Why doesn't she know she has it? Because her friends have never been killed by a fucking dream demon. When that happens, that's when the souls start to go into Freddy and the powers start to go into her. She learns of the power. You develop that over time. She finds some dream expert. That person tells her about the dream master whole concept. She doesn't learn it in a random ass scene where Robert Shea, you know who Robert Shea is the teacher, and somehow Alice is now in this dream class that she's taking in high school. They wanted this movie to gel with part 3, but also be this whole new Dream Master concept for part 4, and because of that, part 4 doesn't land in either arena. For my third entry in the bad column, it's the visuals and kind of by extension the dream sequences. Now, for me, none of the dream sequences stuck out as well done in this movie. None of them. Maybe the Joey one. That's more so because it's a cool concept. It's a little bit of a callback to the Johnny Depp kill in the first one, and we've never seen somebody drown in a waterbed before. So that was pretty cool, but aside from that, you have the cockroach scene, which, one, doesn't make sense, and pretty much all the practicals on that are ridiculous. And the one dream sequence that should have been awesome in this movie, and epic, and just a complete throwdown, Kristen's death. That scene should have been so much more, should have been handled so much better, but it wasn't. It was shit, and you didn't care. That's a problem that you have through most of this movie, is you don't care. You care really about Alice because she's actually pretty solid as a final girl when she takes over. Kincaid, because we care about him from Dream Warriors. And Joey, because we care about him from Dream Warriors. But you don't care about Kristen because it's not really Kristen. I understand that for whatever reason Patricia Arquette is in this movie. That's fine. When that didn't happen, they should have completely scrapped the whole Dream Warriors tie-in. But you have Tuesday Night taking over, and I just couldn't get behind her as Kristen. So because of that, she fell in with the other, for all intents and purposes, no-name characters in this movie that you don't give a shit about. And on top of not really caring about the characters, their kills weren't even really that good. What makes the kills in Dream Warriors so cool is that they matter to the person. They're very topical to each person's death. It matters to them. Philip, he's a sleepwalker. He uses sleepwalking. Taryn, she's a junkie. She is killed with an overdose. Things like that make for good kills. We only have one of those in this movie, and that's the Sheila kill. Before we overlap a little bit too much, let's officially change gears into all the blood, the guts, the face pizzas, the ugly. Picking right back up, talking about the dream sequences, the practical effects in this movie, again, weren't that good. In the Rick kill, when you just have a glove twitch and then fly at Rick and kill him, the Kincaid kill, which the whole connection of Freddy back together was okay, but even in that, Kincaid just gets stabbed. He deserved more. Joey, as I said, he gets a gnarly death. Sheila gets a gnarly death. Then you have the Debbie kill where I guess maybe they were trying to link it to that blink and you miss it moment where there's a bug on her chip or whatever that was. She drops on the ground and stomps it out. Maybe. But they didn't establish that she has some kind of like cockroach fear or whatever. Cockroaches are gross. Anybody. That would associate to anybody. But then you have this whole drawn out her turning into a cockroach scene where you put together that she's in one of those cockroach motels where roaches check in but they don't check out, and you have this whole wall that is this projector screen where it just looks like it's a projector screen. It doesn't look like you're actually supposed to be looking out of it. Because it's so not well done, it looks stupid and you don't really know what's going on with the scene. And then, oh, they pan out and Freddy's holding it and he squishes it. Which, okay, that brings it all together. But as the scene is unfolding, it's ridiculous, and not ridiculous in a good way. In Nightmare on Elm Street movies, you get ridiculous dream sequences. They're supposed to be. But in their ridiculousness, you have Freddy legitimately messing with people, and it's well done. They're not well done in this one. And because of that, it narrows it down pretty much to 2 to pick from for what could be my favorite. So my award for favorite kill of the movie goes to Sheila. Sheila's taking a test that she's been up all night studying for, so she's dead ass tired, and Freddy kills her, grabs her, and sucks the air out of her lungs and kills her, playing on her asthma. Again, it's topical to Sheila. It makes sense. They built it up well that she is a bookworm, that she would be studying, and that's why she would be so tired in class, for her to be able to kind of fall asleep and then preying on the asthma. I love that. One, because it's a gnarly way to go, and we haven't seen Freddy literally suck the life out of somebody before. And 2, I grew up having asthma that I grew out of, and I know what that feels like, to have your chest constrict and feel like you can't get enough air. To potentially die that way, surrounded by people, fucking terrifying. Sheila, you were hoping to take a test, and you took your last breath. That sucks. Now for my final thoughts on Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. When I was sitting down to watch this movie for the review, I was wondering, why don't I remember this movie much? Why don't I watch this movie more? Well, as I got into it, it became very clear why I don't watch this movie. It's not good, and really, it's the first signs of the downward spiral that is Dream Child and ultimately Freddy's Dead. I didn't realize that downward spiral happened so quickly in the series, right after Dream Warriors, after what some consider the pinnacle. It goes right into just shit. And I know we get some moments here and there moving forward, but I was hoping to have one last movie where it would be still pretty good, but we didn't get that. With everything I mentioned in the bad column, this movie has other smaller problems. Like, it tries a couple times to completely mirror visuals that we got in Dream Warriors, and it doesn't do it as good, so it comes off as cheap. And fairly consistently, there was bad dubbing in this movie, left, right, and center. There is even a time where Robert Englund is on the screen, and he's blurred out, and you see his hand, but they give him a line, and if you watch his face, he just sits there like this, and he doesn't say anything, when he's saying things that clearly should have his jaw moving. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. It takes away from the whole experience when it looks like they didn't give a shit enough. There are glistening little moments that make it easier to get through this movie, like the whole repeating over and over Dormammu, I've come to bargain scene where Freddy keeps them in a loop so that they can't get to Debbie. That was a cool little concept. And I guarantee you that they named Alice solely for the line in the finale fight of Welcome to Wonderland Alice. I would put money on that. But any movie that puts Freddy Krueger in sunglasses, you're fucking up. You're fucking up big time. And I know from here it just gets weirder. In the next one they fucking try to give Freddy a kid. My review for The Dream Child is going to be coming out next Tuesday. But in the meantime, if this is the first review you're seeing of mine for a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, I've done reviews for 1, Freddy's Revenge, and The Dream Warriors. I'll have links to all those in the description below. Be sure to go check those out. And while you're down there, I have links to my Instagram and Twitter. They're both at @TheDaveCave_. I post over there when I'm not posting here. And that is going to do it for me today. Thank you so much, as always, for stopping by the Dave Cave. I will see you next Tuesday. But until then, take care.